Marshall Holman, who has topped the $100,000 mark the past 3 years, goes for his 19th PBA title. Harold Sullins, a part-time pro, is in search of his first victory. Amleto Monacelli, the 24-year-old South American, has his 5th chance to win this year. Mike Aulby, the left-hander, the Tour's top money winner, tries to break Earl Anthony's single-season earnings mark. And Bob Handley hopes to win for the first time since '83. It's bowling action aplenty from the Olympic Bowl in Rochester, New York. NBC Sports presents the Professional Bowlers Association Fall Tour. The PBA Fall Tour is sponsored by Kodak Film, because time goes by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By your neighborhood True Value hardware store. And by today's Head and Shoulders, for dandruff care that's good for your hair. Welcome to Rochester, New York and the Kodak Invitational. Happy to have you with us as NBC Sports kicks off its coverage of the Fall Tour. Jay Randolph along with 6-time Bowler of the Year and Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Earl, we have 3 of the top 5 money winners going here this afternoon.
And it's going to be a great telecast, Jay, for more reasons than that. First of all, Mike Aulby and Marshall Holman, in my opinion, are the 2 best bowlers in the world today. And Mike Aulby has a chance to break my single-season money record if he can finish 1st or 2nd. So it should be an exciting telecast.
And we're looking forward to it. $27,000, the first prize here this afternoon. We'll be back with a coverage of the play right after this.
Setting off to find America. Gonna take my own sweet time to find America.
Kodacolor VR films, capturing America in all its glorious colors.
And everywhere I see people smiling back at me, so glad to be in America.
Kodak film, because time goes by.
This Bud's for all that you do.
They said this city was through. You said, no way.
Each day the spirit's growing. Your pride is really showing. You make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
Now you can avoid the high cost of hiring a professional plumber by handling many repairs yourself with professional quality master plumber repair parts and fittings from True Value hardware stores. They come with step-by-step instructions for easy installation. And when you choose master plumber parts and fittings, you can be sure your repairs will last because they're all quality constructed to resist corrosion and wear. Look for them exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
In match 1, Bob Handley going against Mike Aulby. Aulby has opened with 2 strikes and is getting set to bowl in the 3rd frame. Young man from Indianapolis, Indiana. 5'8", 145 pounds. He won the first event on the Winter Tour, the first event on the Summer Tour. Will he win the first event on the Fall Tour?
He's looking very strong, Jay.
Opened with a turkey.
Mike is one of those kind of players. He's one of the very few left-handers on the tour that can play the inside angle and get the good ball reaction on the back end. And as we go through this match with Bob Handley, who also hooks the ball tremendously, you'll see that all the players in our top 5 today throw very strong ball releases. And that's dictated by the surface they're playing on. But watch Mike Aulby, one of the few left-handers that can move in, circle the ball, get it back, and still make it hit hard.
He had the best average on the TV pair, a 220.5 this week. And it hurried and it got there. 4 in a row for Alby.
Well, he's perfect so far. Bob Handley's got his hands full, that's for sure.
True Value hardware would present $100,000 for a 300 game. Bob Handley, 6'1", 175, down 30 pins. And Boomin' Bob leaves the 10-pin.
Good ball by Bob Handley, and he knows he's in trouble. The ball was a little bit too far down the lane for Bob. He knew he had sent it too wide. And as the ball enters the pin, you'll see it come in behind the head pin. Nothing takes out the 10. You see the 6-pin go into the channel. Not quite enough to get back to take the 10 out. Cross lane. It should be an easy spare for Bob. He'll throw it very hard cross lane.
And he's got it. Hanley charged from 10th. Entering last night's 8 games, and he survived by 8 pins. Got a big strike in the 10th in the position round here, which was really exciting last night.
Bob, as you mentioned, made a big charge, Jay, and several players had a chance to make the top 5. There were 10 or 11 players vying for 2 spots with 1 game to go, and you can't get much more exciting than that.
Hanley now has asked for a re-rack on 33. Down 31 pins.
Intense concentration. He really works at the game hard.
And a strike in the 5th for Hanley. They call him Hookin' Hanley or Boomin' Bob. He's a powerful fella from Kansas originally and lives now in Florida. Alby averaged 217.6 this week. His high game was 269. And he has left one, but it was a good string for him.
Pretty hard to start much better than that. 4 in a row, solid 6-pin. Ball breaking just a little sharper than Mike anticipated. Good delivery, good solid delivery. You see the ball breaking a little high on the head pin, off the wall, leaving the 6-pin. Another easy spare from, this will be an easy spare, obviously, for Mike going cross lane.
Alby up by 30 pins. And he's got the spare, and a short time ago I talked with Alby about beating your single season money record.
All-American, and if I do that, I feel I've done my goals. But to be player of the year is a goal. I don't strike.
Well, we had some audio problems there, but what he talked about was the importance of being an All-American and the fact that some other people are also in position to break your record.
That's true. There are Pete Weber, of course, and even Marcel Holman at this point, who's made $100,000, and with a win today could go to 3rd on the money list at $127,000.
This has got to hurry, and it does. Alby with 5 strikes in the first 6 frames. And Hanley in a bit of a hole.
But with his power, with his striking ability, is by no means out of the match with 5 frames to play. Tremendous lift and lock.
And he gets the job done. He qualified for the TV finals 6 times last year without winning.
Bob's had a lot of tough luck in the last year or so on television. He is the kind of a bowler that is very explosive. He tends to have the tremendously big game, or if he gets in trouble, he'll have that 160, 170 game, and that's what's cost him over this past year. He's had some bad games, including a 140 game in one of his early television matches. He's lined up today, though, so I expect him to keep it going. The only thing that can stop him might be a few 10 pins.
He stalks the lane, attacks, and strikes. We'll be back with more from Rochester in just a moment.
In a high-tech fighter, avionics like these are your eyes. In your car, this eye tells you the all-weather Delco Freedom battery is raring to go. One glance is all the maintenance it takes in any weather, from the blazing desert heat to flash frozen with sub-zero liquid gas. You'll see why Delco is the world's largest producer of maintenance-free batteries.
From $39.95 for a Series 40, call 800-AC-DELCO.
Never wait for trouble.
This electronic timer will show how fast chloroseptic can relieve sore throat pain.
My throat's really red, I'm sure, and it has a raw feeling to it.
Will you try chloroseptic?
Yes.
Now watch the timer.
Oh, it numbs it. It's fantastic. It's like somebody's coated it with a medication.
With doctor-recommended chloroseptic, relief is just seconds away.
It'll work on your dandruff. Yeah, but I'm afraid it won't leave my hair the way I like it. Hey, this is great stuff.
Today's Head and Shoulders.
It's all I use. Okay.
Tough dandruff protection that works only on your scalp, not your hair. Gentle conditioners go there.
Tough on dandruff, right? But great on hair.
Today's Head and Shoulders. Dandruff care that's good for your hair.
Mandy Hoos is just 11 years old. What a lovely young gal she is. And her mom, Pam, sitting alongside, the cystic fibrosis poster child. And Gary Skidmore, the national chairman of CF, has been working here this week with her and having great fun. You know, charity always wins on the PBA Tour. And let's see what Mike Aulby can do about winning. And Alby up by 20. Earl Anthony's record, 164,735, set back in 81. And here are the 85 money leaders. And Alby, of course, with a chance to be Bowler of the Year, along with Marshall, Holman, and others. It's going to be an exciting fall tour for us.
It definitely is. We have two major events coming up also out of our 6 telecast, Jay, with the World Open and, of course, the Touring Players Championship.
Alby up by 20. Alby on lane 33. .247 lead.
Difficult spare now. This could be an opening for Bob Handley. I do expect Mike Aulby to cover this spare. Don't get me wrong. He's an excellent spare shooter. Now watch the release. He gets the ball well out on the lane. He likes it when it leaves his hand. The ball just hooked a little early. One of those things. There's really no reason for that to happen, but it did. He cuts through the center of the head pin, and this is a very choppable spare. He has to get the ball between the 2 and the 4 pin to cover the spare. Let's watch.
And he does an excellent job.
Can't do it better than that. That's why he's the leading money winner this year, because he makes his spares and he can throw those strikes.
It's his 7th championship round appearance this year on television. He's won 5 times in 85. Hanley with a possible 259, and it may take that to do it. Strikes in the 8th.
Hanley looks very relaxed. He looks like he's really confident. He's throwing the ball well. He knows he's got the ball rolling well. The angle suits his style. Watch the big lift and loft. The look on his face. He knows he rolled it well. It enters the pins, and you don't get him to hit any harder than that, Jay. That's perfect.
That's about as good as it gets.
That's as good as it gets.
All right, Hanley now with
a strike to take the lead right here.
Yes, indeed. And Alby, very close friends, roomed together this week here.
Very close friends, and you know, it's funny, Jay, that you'd mention that, because Mike Aulby's been tough on all his friends over the years. His brother-in-law, Big Steve Cook, the biggest player on the tour, he's beat him this year for the national championship in Toledo, so he's not very good friends when he gets out there in the lanes.
Alby had to battle back in the position round last night. He is now down by 3 pins.
This is a must strike, Jay. He must get this one going into the 10th, or he could be shut out just with 1 strike.
All right.
Got a break.
Oh, what a match to open our fall tour.
What a match. 2 tremendous bowlers. Great ball revolution, great control, great striking power, obviously. And this is coming down to the 10th frame. The advantage to Alby because he's first up. even though he's behind by 3 pins. The advantage goes to Alby, because if he gets a double in the 10th, Handley has to match it. Good clutch players, both of them.
We'll present an uninterrupted championship match today, but this is a dandy right now.
This is a big one. There you go.
Alby back in the driver's seat. Mike up by 7.
Look at it. Steady head, eyes on the target all the way through. Good free arm swing, nice loft and lift. He knows it's a good shot. Yes. Now he needs another one, but he cannot shut out Bob Handley. The maximum score that Alby can get is 256. Bob Handley can strike out for 259, so the match is far from over. He's got to have this one to make Handley get 2 strikes in the 10th.
In search of his 12th title. Got there.
Is that any way to treat a friend, Jay?
Oh, I tell you, it's tough.
They're bowling for a living. Nobody's friends when they get out there with that bowling ball. Off the lanes, fine. On the lanes, it's combat. Believe me, it's combat.
Handley has not had much success against Alby, but that's true of a lot of people out here these days.
That's right. Mike would like to get this one also, because the count could be important. There's only 3 pins difference in their count.
That's tremendous action for Alby here in the first game.
1 ball out of the pocket out of 12 shots. That's tremendous bowling.
A 256. Hanley needs a double +8.
Look at the ball. Pick up the revolutions on the back. Very little deflection. It means the ball is rolling very strongly. Now Bob Handley needing 2 strikes and 8 pins to win. 2 strikes and 8 pins to be a winner. Out and back. And he got it. That was a big break for Bob Handley. He got that ball a little wider than he anticipated. It hooked back very hard, chipped the 4-pin, a big break.
Of course, we have the possibility of a tie, and this was a very, very big one for the man from Pompano Beach, Florida.
He knows he rolled it well, but he didn't expect it to come back that hard. He got a little wide, as I mentioned, of his target. When the big shooters, the big crankers, the guys that throw a lot of balls, strong ball, make a mistake, it's usually right, and then the ball hooks too hard on the back. Let's see what he does with this one. He has to have this to have a chance to win.
Trying for more on lane 34, and he doesn't get it.
Pulled the ball, Jay, and he knew it when he let go of it. He didn't have a chance. He pulled the ball, got it inside of his target area, went through the nose, the baby split.
Mike Aulby advances to match number 2. He'll go against Monachelli, and we'll be back with more of the Kodak Invitational in just a moment.
Listen to the sound of a closer, smoother shave. Williams Electric Shave sets up my beard, so my shaver shaves closer, and I get a smoother shave. Listen to Williams Electric Shave. The sound of a closer, smoother shave.
Huh, you're wearing this because of your new secretary.
Me? New improved ice blue aqua velva cools better, makes my face feel great.
But that scent, it's sinful.
Lasts longer, too.
There's something about an ice blue aqua velva, man.
Want a good reason why my antacid is Tums? I'll give you 3. 1, Tums is effective. It neutralizes 1/3 more stomach acid than the other leading brand. And that's what I take an antacid for. 2, sodium. I don't want any. And Tums is sodium-free. 3, Tums is rich in calcium. And to me, an extra source of calcium is extra good news.
Match number 2 will have Mike Aulby going against Amleto Monacelli, the young man from Venezuela, born of Italian parents. Alby coming through in match 1, 256 to 245 over Hanley. And Hanley wins $5,500 for 5th place. Here at the Olympic Bowl, we've had a marvelous week. The PBA Fall Tour kicking off, and we'll give you an idea of how the fellows on the tour did. Our top 24 finishers this week, Earl, and what has been just a marvelous time here.
It has been, Jay, and generally you'll find as we go through the top 24, John Messina, all these players, the majority of them are the type of player that throw the ball fairly hard, a lot of hard roll on the back end. Sam Juritz from now in Hernando Beach, Florida, originally from New York, a very strong rolling bowling ball. Billy Young the same way. Very talented. He won earlier this year. Steve Martin back and bowling good, and that's really nice to see. He was injured earlier this year.
John Gant, pretty good pitcher in his day.
Yeah, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay, Bruce Carter, he's been bowling extremely well all year long, very steady.
Rowdy Morrow from my hometown.
Nobody's from St. Louis. It's St. Charles now.
Well,
That's
St.
close.
Charles, right across the river. Leroy Bornhop, he was in the lead earlier this week. And there's Bob Learn Jr. along with the strong man from Columbia, South Carolina, Jeff Bellinger.
Dave Ferraro has been bowling very well, 6 consecutive finals. Steve Fair, another man that was injured earlier in the year, he's back to bowling well again. That's good to see. He's a super guy.
And an outstanding performance by Darrell Bauer, the young man from Middletown, Pennsylvania last night. He came within 8 pins of making the finals. Well, we're set to go as Alby moves along against the youngster from South America, Monachelli. Amleto averaged 202 on the TV pair. Very interesting young man. He was the leader here through the qualifying. Had a 300 game this week.
Yes, he did, Jay. He's been bowling extremely well. He's led a tournament this year, even though he hasn't won. He's been on television in the match play finals for the championship 5 times, which is very, very good. Very unusual style.
And it throws himself at the lane. And he opens with a strike. A chance to see him here in a moment. Rather unusual situation with his footwear. He is from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. He is born of Italian parents. His dad is the '81 Southern American bowling champion. His parents still residing in Venezuela.
I'm glad you said that hometown. I can't pronounce it.
Hanley in action again. Ooh, and he got a break there.
Alby is very fortunate there. Many times when, just to kind of explain, you'll notice that the players, when they come back from that little break, the player that won the previous match does not get any practice balls, and he'll relax a little bit after winning. He'll get out there and he'll be a little soft with the release, and it'll break a little early. A good break for Mike Aulby. Going cross lane now. Should be an easy spare.
Mike had 10 strikes in his victory over Hanley.
Look at that big break. Generally, you'll notice that the scores will go down a little bit as the matches progress. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, the lanes will change due to the play on the lanes. The ball's rolling down the lane, moves the oil around. The other is the lights. And the main reason, I think, is that as they advance through the tournament into the championship match, there's more money at stake, there's more pressure, and the guys start to steer the ball a little bit. We're all guilty of that.
I think that visual a moment ago showed us more money at stake. A lot of $100,000 winners this year.
Back on track.
Yes, he is.
Tough competitor, Mike Aulby.
This is Monachelli's 4th championship round TV appearance this year and the 7th of his career. He has 2 runner-up finishes this year. And he has, as you mentioned, Earl, a rather unusual style.
If nothing else, at least unique. In his backswing, as we watch him go to the foul line, and look at there, 2 colored shoes. I'll explain what that's all about in a minute, but watch his backswing, watch him open his right shoulder, then close it at the point of release to get a lot of speed and lift. Big break right there. That could have been anything, Jay, from an impossible split to a 1-pin spare, and it ended up being a strike.
Well, he's opened with a couple that were rather helpful from the standpoint of getting the scramble down there.
Big lift. Big release. Now watch the ball. Look at the look on his face. Yes, that's a break. He knows it's a break. Now, the mistake that he has made in the past, and I watched him in match play this week, when he did get the break when the ball went high on the head pin, and he's done that a couple of times during match play, got the strike, he would send the next one too wide. And once in a while, he left the 2-8-10. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to be a jinx, but that's happened to him twice already this week. Let's see what he does here. It's out and back. Great shot.
There is his sister, who came up from New Jersey, Andreina Monachelli. She's a student in political science down at Farley Dickinson University.
And she's gorgeous.
She sure is. Alby won 110,000 plus to finish fourth on the money list in '84. Has already won 155,000 plus this time around.
And he's tough. Something seems to be bothering him. I'm not sure. Now he's getting a re-rack. That's what it is. He wants those pins on spot. He doesn't want a bad break against somebody like Monachelli, just because the pins may not be just where they should be. One mistake could cost you the match, the way these boys are bowling right now, Jay.
They're allowed 3 re-racks per
out and
event.
Back. And there's the bad break we were just talking about right there. Now that ball actually came into the pocket area too strong. As it enters the pocket area, it's rolling so hard. And watch the ball. It will not deflect. It'll go in front of the 8-pin. See that? It goes in front of the 8-pin. It actually hit too hard. That's a bad break. This is the spare cross lane on the left side Mike's had some problem with, the 7 and the 8 pin. I don't expect him to miss it, but he has struggled a little bit on the left side. He's had problems with the approach as he's gone cross lane. He's stuck a little bit, and he's missed a couple 7 pins this week. But right now, for all the money, no problem.
Mike captured the Old Spice Classic at Garden City on the winter tour last year as he defeated Monachelli 233 to 220.
Mike would like to get a strike here because he doesn't want Monachelli to get too far ahead early in the match.
Gotta hurry.
Got a break. Could have been a split. Earlier in his match against Bob Handley, he left the same spare, covered it quite easily. But again, I hate to sound like a doomsday type person, but this is a very difficult spare for a left-hander. He'll be going cross lane, try to fit the ball between the 2 and the 4 pin, and let the 4 pin take out the 7. With the big hook that Mike Aulby throws, he'll try to flatten the ball out or throw it straighter. He'll cut the hook down so the ball doesn't cut in front of the pins. There it is.
2, 4, 7, 10. Monachelli leads by 23. More in a moment.
This fight's for all that you do. Somehow you always come through. You keep it going. Your pride's really showing. Nobody shines like you. Yeah, you make America work, and this fight's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This fight's for you.
The Topol Smoker's Stain Test.
It looks like the bottom of an ashtray. What got me interested in Topol was noticing tobacco stains on other people's teeth. I didn't necessarily notice stains that much on my teeth before, but I noticed cleaner, whiter teeth after I used it.
That's because Topol has an exclusive double-action formula that foams away newly deposited smoke particles, then helps remove built-up tobacco stains.
Well, I smile a lot, and I think that says it all.
Topol, we give smokers winning smiles.
Smile, boys. Look at this dang picture. We got bad developing again, boys. My hat ain't even white.
Well, I always said you was yellow.
Oh, that's funny coming from a greenhorn on a green horse.
The horse is green. Why, you are now, boys. Should have used that new Kodak color watch system. Could have had a great picture then. Try it again.
Look for the Color Watch seal where you get your film developed for bright, vivid color prints time after time. And if you don't see that sign, keep on riding.
This fall, NBC Sports has a November to remember when the starter's flag drops on the inaugural running of the Kart Miami Indy Challenge. Racing's hottest drivers, Mario Andretti, the Unsers, and Indy champion Danny Sullivan battle it out for the national championship. A November to remember on NBC.
back at the Olympic Bowl in Rochester as the PBA has returned to this wonderful city for the first time in 5 years. Amleto Monacelli.
Another good break right there, Jay. The ball came in high in the middle of the head pin. Almost an identical shot to what he had in the second frame. He carried it there. This time he didn't get the strike. Easy spare for him, though.
Earl, we see the two different shoes here. You mentioned that earlier. And
yes, and what that's all about is he has on his left foot the shoe that is red, a build-up heel. And the reason for the build-up heel is so that he can plant himself at the foul line and pull through it as he does to get the speed lift that he needs to make the ball rotate and hook as much as it does.
And I think we could see it very well in that shot right there. Monachelli up by 21 as Alby defeated Bob Handley in our first match. This is the first of 6 consecutive weeks of coverage on the PBA Tour, and starting next week we'll be on for our last 5 weeks at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 1:30 in the Los Angeles area.
Now, as Monachelli goes to the foul line, plant pull. You can see that very dramatically there.
Got a little bit of a break, looked a little high.
It was crossed over. He definitely got a big break. The big ball sometimes gets away from these guys, and when you rotate a ball that much, you create that much turn, lift, and loft on the ball. Sometimes it hooks early, gets away from you. He got a big break as the ball crossed over the head pin, carried all 10, and that might bother someone like Mike Aulby because he hasn't really got anything going yet, and he's down by 21 pins, and we're already in the 5th frame. Good competitor. I expect Mike to make a good shot. Let's see what happens. Concentration, tremendous concentration. Out and back. Don't do it any better than that. I wish I could do that.
Oh, you did it a few times.
Not like that.
A few thousand.
Okay.
As we look at Alby and take a look at the score, I'm reminded that earlier this week they had the Pro-Am very successful here, of course, and then the youth clinics that the pros put on, and the young people of the Rochester area enjoying the opportunity to visit with the great professionals of the tour. A very tough lead for Alby.
It is. The lanes are changing. Remember a little earlier we talked about how the lanes will change as the matches progress. The oil moves around on the surface, and as it moves around, the ball reacts differently. Now this ball, Mike thought he made a good shot. He probably did. He probably rolled it right over his target, but the ball broke much more than he thought it would. Went through the middle of the head pin. Impossible spare. He'll go for the 2, not to lose the count.
He left the 4-6-10. That is his first open frame.
And it's a big one. Monachelli on a strike, chance to increase his lead from 33 to 43 pins, and it's in the 6th frame already. It's getting late for Mike. If Mike's going to break that money record, he's got to win this match and go on to win at least one more.
This young man came out on the tour in '82. He's having his best year. He's won over $50,000.
Out and back. He loved it. Great shot.
Oh, he's hot right now. He's sizzling.
He struggled earlier this year with a 140 game, as a matter of fact, when he was a leader on television. But here he goes to the foul line. That little step to get him in motion, to relax him. Good footwork. The upper body twist. You can see it in his hips as he twists to bring the ball back, and a tremendous loft and lift out over the foul line. And now they don't throw it out there, folks. They lift it out there. They lift it with their wrist and their fingers. They get that ball out there through strength in their wrist and their legs, not by just throwing it out there in the air.
Amleto has averaged 221.3 here this week at Olympic Bowl. And he is on a roll. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
Monday on TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes, it's a crazy night of fun with an exciting new blooper contest where you can win big prizes. Don't be a crab. Watch Bloopers and Practical Jokes Monday.
I'm Rod Gilt, speaking for the Clinton County Area Development Corporation. Since 1961, the Job Development Authority has helped small business create hundreds of jobs throughout New York State. Right here in the North Country, the Job Development Authority has supported 39 projects, created hundreds of jobs in Clinton, Essex, Franklin, and St. Lawrence counties, all at no cost to the taxpayer. Support the Job Development Authority by voting yes on proposal number 1 on November 5.
Hi, Mr. Woody. How you doing?
Not too good. Remember when I was in here last...
He doesn't remember, Woody.
September 30th.
Yeah, I had a problem with my...
Lower back.
Yeah, only you had to call my doctor because AccuFace said my prescription might react with my...
Hay fever medicine.
Yeah, remember my back was killing me every time I...
Bent over.
Yeah, well, I...
He's got it again.
Yeah.
AccuFace, just one more reason Faze is not your average drugstore.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Nightly News on 5 at 6 and 11 p.m. on WPTZ.
Mike Aulby's got to climb a giant mountain here. And you get a look at a young man I know you're going to enjoy watching, Harold Sullins, who qualified second. He's loosening up in the wings. And, of course, the man who qualified number 1, Marshall Holman. But right now, Alby in desperate need of a strike.
He's made an adjustment. He's made an adjustment. He's moved deeper on the approach, deeper on the lane. In other words, he's moved his feet and his target to the right to arc the ball more, and it still wasn't quite enough.
We'll look at it again, Earl, and let you mention, of course, that the lanes are ever changing. Our lights and the heat, all of these things come into play.
Everything. The ball's picking up the oil, moving it down the lane. You can see the ball cut very sharply through the center of the head pin almost, and leave the 6 pin. Not a good break for Mike. Good break for Amleto. Look out. Boy, do they hook that
thing, don't they? This young man says that he wants to be exempt and win a title, and Amleto Monacelli may have that opportunity this afternoon. Alby's come back many times in his career, and he's got his hands full now.
He does. Mike, the maximum he can score at this point is 215 if he goes all the way from the 8th, 9th, and 10th frames. That's a start.
Boy, he really started way outside with that one.
He did. He knows he's in trouble, and he knows that Monachelli is loose out there right now. He's got a 53-pin lead, 3 frames to bowl. He's shooting at a 238 clip at this point. Mike, I'm sure, doesn't like his chances, but in this game, anything can happen. Anything. I know it's happened to me, just about all of it.
And the young man from South America is sizzling. And his sister, Andreina, lovely lady, is enjoying what he's doing right now.
She sure is. She sure is. Now, right now, Amleto, at this point, pretty well has this match locked up. What he might be thinking, and what most of the experienced players would be thinking, is that now's my chance to make sure I'm lined up. Is there an alternate shot that might be something I can use when the lanes change? He might try a few experimental shots just to see what he can get in the next match. Way out and back.
Well, he doesn't need to experiment too much more than that.
I think he's starting to move around a little bit, Jay. He is testing the lanes. That one was a lot wider than he's been throwing the ball. He got it way out near the channel, brought it all the way back.
Well, Monachelli is our winner, and he's going to move along. Alby will have to wait another day to break Earl Anthony's single-season money record.
He'll be back.
Alby is going to win $6,500 as he finishes 4th. Amleto Monacelli moves on, and we'll return with more after this.
If you suffer from occasional muscular backache due to overexertion, overstraining, or even overweight, get the power of Doan's pills. Just 2 pills help relieve the misery of minor muscular back pain and ache due to stress and strain, with a pain relief ingredient found in no other leading analgesic. Doan's relieves the pain to help give you back your mobility for hours. Try Doan's pills and put the power where your pain is.
An hour from now, there'll be 50,000 fans here, eating, drinking, cheering, and groaning. Some of those fans will leave here not feeling so well. Whether it's heartburn, upset stomach, even diarrhea, they can all take one remarkable medicine for relief. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, Pepto-Bismol relieves what's wrong, relieves it, then leaves a protective coating behind. Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need.
Ivory's America's favorite soap, our name has come to mean a heritage of purity, a natural kind of clean.
99 and 44 100% pure. It floats. For over 100 years, those words have meant Ivory. Today, Ivory freshens more complexions and helps more people feel clean, look healthy than any other soap. For a natural and pure kind of clean, one soap still rises to the top. Ivory.
Well, here is the matchup. Monachelli is the winner, 255 to 192 over Alby. And Monachelli will move on against Harold Sullins. Well, it's time now for one of our features on our PBA Fall Tour, Earl's Corner. Earl visited today with marvelous Marshall Holman.
My guest, Marshall Holman. Marshall, it's been a tough week for you. You were sick all through the event, suffered a wrist injury during match play. How'd you bowl so well?
Earl, I'm just very fortunate that my game didn't let me down. I wasn't feeling well. Thursday was a tough day for me. My energy level was just really low. Maybe it's because of the trip I took to the Orient and I'm still not over the jet lag. I'm not really sure, but I feel much better today, felt good yesterday, and I'm looking forward to winning the match today.
Well, we do wish you well, Marshall. I know you've never been Bowler of the Year, and I know you want that more than anything else in your bowling career. Does it mean that much that you'll really be worrying about that today? Is it going to be part of it? Because we've got 6 events left on NBC Sports this fall.
I don't think I'll really be paying attention to whether I'll be going for Bowler of the Year today. You know, I'm looking to win the match. If I win the match today, it certainly gives me a great opportunity to be Bowler of the Year. I've got the kind of game that has the opportunity to be a Bowler of the Year kind of a game. My problem in the past is that when I've had a great year, Mark Roth's had a great year, or Earl Anthony has had a great year. So I need to go out and just do my job today. My job is to win the tournament.
Well, we certainly wish you well, Marsh, and as a leader, I'm pulling for you a little bit, I think. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Earl.
Earl's Corner here on our coverage of the Fall PBA Tour. And it's always nice to have Earl talk things over as we have Monachelli defeating Alby. And the young man is slated now to go against Harold Sullins. And Sullins is quite a story indeed. Want to remind you to join us next Saturday. That's November 9th, the $135,000 Budweiser Open from the Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. And then on the 16th of November, the $135,000 True Value Open at the Woodland Bowl, Indianapolis, Indiana. And on that occasion, Earl, a 300 game would be worth $200,000 from True Value.
That's more money than you've got, Jay.
All right. Well, we're going to have match 3 coming up for you from Olympic Bowl here in Rochester, New York. $27,000 the first prize. More in a moment.
When you least expect it, night leg cramps strike. Now there's help from Dr. Scholl's new Legatrin. When legs not in pain, Legatrin, unlike aspirin, goes directly to the source of pain. Relaxes knotted muscles, relieves cramps, so you get back to sleep. New Legatrin, the medicine that says good night to night leg cramps.
We've got what it takes. We've got what it takes to make it easy. We've got what it takes to make it good. When there's nothing you can't do when you know your true value. We've got what it takes, true value.
The more you have to do, the more you really need True Value hardware stores and home centers.
We've got what it takes, true value.
saw this demonstration on TV, but I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. On this side, I feel a tingling sensation with Denorex. Here with Selsun Blue, nothing. The tingle tells me that Denorex is doing more.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds an extra anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
Feels really good. Refreshing. So long, Selsun Blue. Hello, Denorex.
Denorex shampoo or shampoo and conditioner fights dandruff and its itch with an extra relief medicine.
That spicy barbecue buffalo burger has started to send you smoke signals. Alka-Seltzer to the rescue. Alka-Seltzer relieves the acid indigestion that's hot on your trail and also quiets the tom-toms in your head. So when your stomach and head go on the warpath, send Alka-Seltzer to the rescue and bring peace to your body fast.
Alka-Seltzer to the rescue.
With Earl Anthony, Jay Randolph here at Olympic Bowl, Rochester, New York. Welcome back, and we hope you're enjoying our premiere of the 1985 Fall Tour. Amleto Monacelli now to face Harold Sullins. Sullins, quite a story. He was 9th at the end of the morning round yesterday. And Sullins gets away. Ooh, it didn't go. The 10 is standing.
Tough break right out of the box. But, you know, it's interesting, Jay, to me that of all 5 players, 4 of them chose to finish the match first. In other words, make the other player finish last and maybe create some pressure for him to need a double or something to win the match in the 10th frame. Harold Sullins, the least experienced of all 5 players, chose to start the match. In other words, to finish the 10th frame last. So maybe he feels he's better under pressure. Let's see what happens.
Sullins is 6 feet tall, 165 pounds, from Roseville, Michigan. I mentioned that Monachelli had a 300 game here this week. So did Sullins.
Well, let's see what that weight between matches did for Amleto. We know what it did for Alby. He started with that through the nose. Let's see what Amleto does. Just a little bit short. Still a good shot. Not a bad start after waiting a couple of minutes for the other player to come over and take his practice balls. Should be an easy spare.
Left the 4-pin.
As the lanes change, and they will, the experience comes into play. Let's see how Mr. Sullins handles the lanes and the pressure of bowling for a PBA championship. Amleto has already bowled a match on the pair. He knows what they're like. Harry has to go out there and really come out and find them.
The loser of this match will take down 3rd place and $8,000. The winner moves on. Sullins wants to be exempt from the Rabbit squad as we look at the prize money, and I can't blame him for that. That's a tough way to go.
It sure is. It makes for a long week. You start on Monday and you're bowling all the way through Saturday. It gives you 2 days to get to the next event and start all over again. It's a tough way to go. The exempt players don't have to worry about it until Wednesday.
Amleto, just 24 years old, a rising star. Left the 10.
Now he is trying to get the ball out farther on the lane, hook it more. The lane is opening up. By that I mean that the right-hand side of the lane, because they've thrown a lot of balls down there. As you see the ball go way out near the channel, come real hard back. The lane is opening up. It's drying out. So the players are creating more area to the right. They can send it out. It'll hook back, especially with that tremendous lift.
Amleto came over and spoke to tournament director Harry Golden, and I think there's one of his bowling balls has been taken away. I think Alby put his other bowling ball maybe in his bag, and
by mistake. The balls are many of the players use the same model of bowling ball, and it's not unusual for them to get mixed up once in a while, but in a situation like this, it's a shame.
Harry Golden there in the white jacket, and Chuck Pisano Seated next to him, our television coordinator, and both members of the Hall of Fame, of course. There they are.
Amleto waiting to shoot the spare with a particular ball because it doesn't hook as much. He's going across lane at a very difficult spare. He wants to throw the ball that doesn't hook.
Earl, a chance for us to talk about the format. On Wednesday, 2 games with the A and B squads, 2 6-game sessions. Thursday, another 6-game round based on total pinfall for the 18 games. The top 24 qualify for match play, and at night, the first of 3 8-game rounds of match play.
Right, and that's where it starts to really get down to the nitty-gritty. And during the match play, all 24 players bowl each other 1 game and then a position round on Friday evening. Usually ends up about 9:30 in the evening, and that's how we decide who the top 5 are based on how they do with bonus pins and, of course, their total pinfall.
Well, the applause you hear is for the return of the bowling ball. Marshall Holman is down to the right, looking on at the scene right now, getting set as he is the man at the top who qualified first.
Let's see if it disturbed Amleto. Look at that. Now there's a little class for you right there. Just went up there and made it like there was nothing to it.
Young man handling the pressure very nicely.
And the pressure does build as we get closer and closer to the championship match. Again, the least experienced of all our players, Harold Sullins. And a break. Crossed over. Again, now when you don't have that kind of experience that comes through bowling on television a number of times, it does kind of affect you more and more in the first few frames. He'll probably loosen up and start to bowl better later, but right now he tends to rush the foul line. His arm swing isn't going to be quite as loose. He's going to pull the ball a little bit. He started hooking a little early, as he did then. It crossed over the head pin. Fortunately, he got an easy spare out of it.
No matter what happens here today in this match, he will win more money today than he has won in the entire 1985 season. $7,570 his earnings up to this point. He works at a sporting goods store back home in Michigan. He said to me that his timing was very, very good this week, that he was able to change the hand position and fit it to the style of the lanes.
And the lanes will change. That's the key, making those adjustments.
Got them all.
That's the kind of break he needs. Get him loosened up a little bit. Before Amleto gets lined up again, he's got to get something going. Harold Sullins, excuse me. Trying to get something going before this young man gets going and gets too big a lead on him. Confidence. You can see it in his face. He knows he's throwing the ball well. He's making some adjustments. The lanes have changed a little for him. He's hooking it a little more, sending it way out near the channel. There it is.
Oh, a dandy.
Takes a lot of courage to throw the ball like that and know it's going to come back all the way back to the pocket like that. Tremendous power, tremendous lift, and confidence.
Monachelli defeating Alby 255 to 192. He had 8 strikes in that match. Not a very big fella, but he can move it down the lane.
He definitely can. Strengthen the legs. That's what's the key to getting that leverage and lift on the ball. The scores have been tremendous. So far, our first 4 games, the players have averaged 237.
And another one for Amleto Monacelli, a young man from Venezuela. More from Rochester, New York, right after this.
Setting off to find America. Gonna take my own sweet time to find America.
Kodak VR films, capturing America in all its glorious colors.
And everywhere I see people smiling back at me, so glad to be in America.
Kodak film, because time goes by.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer...
Hey, can I have a light?
Whoa! You never know what you'll get.
Give me a light.
Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Working closely with people, I'm always concerned about my smoker's breath. But when I heard about a smoker's mouthwash, I said, oh, sure. Then I heard it was from Topol, so I said, oh, sure.
New Topol Smoker's Mouthwash with Xantrate eliminates smoker's breath on contact. Tests prove it neutralizes the odor of sulfur compounds and protects against tobacco-stained breath for hours.
Look, who knows more about smokers' problems than Topol?
New Topol Smoker's Mouthwash eliminates smoker's breath on contact.
Shrimp with lobster sauce. Shrimp with lobster sauce.
A roast pork lo mein.
Roast pork lo mein.
Ever since Benihana introduced their frozen Oriental entrees, people have been saying 8 is not enough. So we've introduced 4 more. Shrimp and lobster sauce, Szechuan beef, roast pork lo mein, roast pork with Chinese vegetables. Benihana's taken your favorite Oriental restaurant food and put it where it belongs, at home.
More mail.
Benihana. We either make them great or we don't make them at all.
28-year-old Harold Sullins, who says he practices as little as possible, but
well, whatever it was, it must what little practice he does must have paid off, because he really rolls the ball well.
A strike on 34 in the 4th for Sullins.
Evens the matchup, and he is really answering the call. Amleto put the pressure on him with strikes in the 3rd, 4th, and he came right back.
Dr. Ron Heitke, the Vice President of Consumer Products for Kodak. Kodak people marvelous here this week, their group there. Kodak employs 55,000 people here in this marvelous city just south of Lake Ontario. A little over 600,000 people in this area. Problem for Sullins, a big problem.
That's disaster right now. With Amleto on a double, the pin count alone is disastrous. Now, I think he was happy with the release. It looked good, it looked firm, the ball breaking very sharply. Again, I keep repeating this, but it's very important the lanes change very quickly. The players are using high-performance balls that create a lot of friction. They're hard to control.
He only got the 10. He left the 4, 6, 7, 10, and only got the 10.
That count will make a huge difference as the match goes on. We'll try to remember to remind you of that, because now he has 89 in the 5th, and he was shooting at a 210 pace, 209 pace.
So a big opportunity for Amleto Monacelli.
And he knows it. He looks excited. He's ready.
The fellows on the tour call him the Italian Stallion or Omelet.
Omelet, huh?
Yeah.
Out and back.
Out and back, and bingo, he got them all.
He sure did. The ball, the way Amleto is releasing the ball and the arc that is taking, what makes the ball strike is the way it enters the pins at the precise angle to strike, and he's getting it to do that right now, Jay.
Is he going to gain his first championship in 5 tries here today? He's up by 30.
With one of the best bowlers in the world waiting to take him on for the championship if Amleto does go on and win this match. Long way to go yet, as you can see.
Monachelli set to roll on lane 33.
Just keeps going. He's tremendous today. I've never seen Amleto with so much confidence on the lanes. I've watched him bowl for a long time now, and he is really, really getting the ball well out on the lane, using his leg strength to get that tremendous lift and turn.
4 in a row for Monachelli. The open frame in the 5th for Sullins. He's down 40 pins. Well, he averted a split there.
He did get a good break there, Jay, and he knows he's in trouble. He knows that he only has 5 frames to play, and he has to get some strikes. Amleto doesn't look like he's going to let up at all. Obviously, this, for a professional bowler, the 4-pin is a fairly easy spare. He'll go cross lane at it. A lot of speed. Try to keep the ball from hooking. There she goes. It's getting late in the match as far as Harold Sullins is concerned right now. With if he should strike the rest of the way out, the maximum score of 229, that might not be enough.
Sullins qualifies for next week's action at the Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. That's just a hop, skip, and a jump from his home.
That's almost hometown.
There's Marshall Holman, the #1 qualifier.
Very experienced and very confident Marshall Holman.
another one a little high, and another big problem, and Sullins is really fighting it.
He is, and that's 3 shots in a row that he's let get away from him. Part of it's the lanes changing a little bit. Part of it is that he's nervous. He's rushing the foul line a little bit, and when you do that, you get ahead of the ball, you lose ball speed, and you lose direction.
Oh, and in the gutter. So Monachelli is in the driver's seat, and we'll be back right after these messages from your local station.
This Sunday, The Mission, where the lives of 10 men rest in the power of one. Sunday, a special 1-hour episode, Amazing Stories.
I'm William H. Kennery. My 30 years experience as a trial lawyer has helped to qualify me for the office of Justice of the Supreme Court. Your support on Election Day would be appreciated.
Friends, get 8.8% financing during our November sellathon. It's going on right now at Pollock, Pontiac Cadillac Oldsmobile in Rutland. Look at this car, brand new. 1986 Pontiac, a T1000 coupe with a 4-speed transmission. Now, at 8.8% financing, drive it home today. $136 a month. Look at that sale price, $5,988. Our friends from Granville, let's pick up the phone and let's call the hotline. Do it right now, 773-3308.
America needs an extra pair of hands in your hometown Army National Guard. Hands that could save a neighbor's life. It's a very important job. And America needs a hard worker in your hometown Army Guard to help keep our country strong. Join the Americans at their best.
In the National Guard.
Nightly News on 5 at 6 and 11 p.m. on WPTZ.
Looking at the ball of Monachelli, who has a possible 279 in this game. And
until that shot, Jay, that was disastrous, and it might
frame here in the 8th.
Yeah, this match can still be very close. Anything can happen in bowling, and usually does. Going for the 2.
Well, through 8 now, he is 184, and Sullins is down 51 pins. Coming up in just a few moments, Earl's tip for you. He'll have one each week during the fall tour. And today he's going to talk a little bit about selecting a bowling ball, an important item at this time of the year if you're just getting started. Oh, and Sullins is open, and things are pretty well finished here.
They definitely are, and it looks like we're going to have a match between Mr. Monachelli and Marshall Holman.
And there is Holman. So it's going to be the veteran against the youngster in our championship match as Sullins and Monachelli finish things out right here. Time now for Earl's tip, and today an opportunity for him to talk with you about the important selection of your bowling equipment.
Hi, everywhere I go, people are asking me which type of bowling ball might be better for my game. Well, there are 3 types of bowling balls available on the market today: rubber, plastic, and urethane. Each one has its own qualities on the lane surface. The rubber ball is easier to control and might be the best ball for the beginning bowler or the average bowler. As you get into the plastic bowling ball, it reacts more to what's on the lane surface and tends to hit harder in the pin area. It gives you more strike power. The urethane ball, the high-performance bowling ball, is for the more skilled player with a more consistent release. It's a little harder to control, but it gives you tremendous striking ability. Remember, if you want maximum control, use the rubber ball for more consistency and more accuracy. If you want a little more strike power, you're going to lose a little control, go to the plastic bowling ball. For maximum strike power, less consistency, a little harder to control, go to the urethane bowling ball.
Earl's tip for today, and we hope you enjoyed it. And Earl, as I said, is an important item at this time of the year.
It is. Getting into the fall leagues, I'm sure a lot of bowlers are thinking about going to the pro shop and buying a new ball, and that might help them a little bit, Jay.
This big crowd here at the Olympic Bowl is anticipating our final match, which will have Amleto Monacelli going against Mr. Marshall Holman. And right now, of course, we've got an opportunity to visit with NBC's Bob Costas, who probably will never be in the Bowling Hall of Fame in St. Louis, but nevertheless, we'll defer to Mr. Costas right now.
Hi, I'm Bob 710 Split Costas, personal fashion consultant to Guppy Troop. Hope you're enjoying NBC Sports' exclusive coverage of the PBA Fall Tour. And for additional thrills, join me, Pete Axthelm, Ahmad Rashad, and Larry King for the first word in pro football. NFL 85, Sunday on NBC.
Well, Bob Costas is ready to go with Axe and Ahmad and all the gang tomorrow as we have a big football doubleheader for you here on NBC. And we're sure happy to be with you. Jay Randolph and Earl Anthony. We've had some great scoring and bowling here this afternoon, and I'm excited, as I think this tremendous crowd is, about seeing the youngster against the vet.
Yeah, I am too, Jay. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think what we should look for here is Amleto Monacelli could be the first foreign player to win a PBA event, a national tour stop. And I think Marshall Holman obviously is thinking Bowler of the Year. Whether he admits it or not, he's thinking about it.
Amleto would automatically get an invitation to the Firestone.
He would be in the Firestone. He would be exempt for a full year just because he won this particular event. And I think Marshall Holman wants to put a stop to that, though. He wants that Bowler of the Year. He won't talk about it, but he's got it in the back of his mind, and it's a major thing for him. He's never been one before.
I think probably one of the items that we'll be talking about as far as Holman goes is the fact that he has today a wrap on his hand. He hasn't felt very well this week. He's much better today, but he kind of played through some pain and didn't feel very well the last couple of days.
That's right, and he injured that yesterday in the morning block of the match play, and I was there when he was wrapping it. I was watching him play. He suffered some pain in the inside part of his wrist. He thinks it might be tendon problems, and he looks like he's not really rolling the ball with as firm as he was yesterday. So we'll see what happens.
Last night, of course, he bowled very, very well. In fact, he had a remarkable day yesterday. He started the day back by, I think, more than 200 and came out of nowhere. And he has a grace about his delivery that makes him stand apart, I think.
Very unique style, and we'll go into that when he's actually on the lanes and we can get a good look at him. He's very smooth. He's one of the finest players as far as being consistent. He's there every week, Jay, and as usual, he's got a chance to win.
And don't forget, join us next week right here. And here is the results for match 3. Monachelli 213 to 167 over Sullins. And for Sullins, $8,000 for third place. And in the title match, Amleto Monacelli meets Marshall Holman. First prize, $27,000. Back with that right after this.
If you just ask for a light beer,
I'll have a light.
You never know what you'll get.
That's me packing the car. Best vacation ever. Here's Rock City, Texas, L.A., all in 3 days.
Bud Light.
Here I am in Death Valley. That's me looking for water.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste,
wait, there's more.
Ask for Bud Light, because everything else,
give me a light.
It's just a light.
That's me packing the car. Best vacation.
Raise your hand.
You got it.
Raise your hand.
You know it. You feel confident, secure.
If you want to feel confident, raise your hand. If you want to feel secure, raise your hand. If you want protection that helps you feel dry all day, raise your hand and reach for sure.
Confident, confident, dry and secure. Raise your hand if you're sure. Raise your hand if you're sure.
I'm Connie Chung. Tonight on NBC Nightly News, President Reagan for the first time says yes to a Soviet arms offer to cut most offensive missiles 50%. In Washington State, a dramatic rescue of a man who was buried by a mudslide that killed 3. And a report on how Picasso's women shaped his art.
Well, we're very happy that you'll be joining us on the fall tour at 2 Eastern Time for the next 5 weeks. And next week, the 9th of November, the $135,000 Budweiser Open, Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. And then on the 16th, the $135,000 True Value Open at the Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, where the True Value folks will put up $200,000 for a 300 game. 2 Eastern Time. Our shows now over the next 5 remaining weeks of the fall tour, and 1:30 next week out in Los Angeles. And another feature, of course, the title match, uninterrupted, no commercials for you, Monachelli and Holman. And we're just about set for this. We started the day with 3 of the top 8 money winners, Alby, Holman, and Hanley. And Holman is here. Monachelli, incidentally, ranks 9th in scoring average this season. We had 4 of the top 9 in scoring average in our top 5.
And here's the number 1 right here, Marshall Holman. He leads the tour in average. He's 5th in money. And in most people's estimation, currently, either he or Alby would be ranked the best bowler in the world.
Well, he's certainly considered the best right-handed bowler in the world today. 5'9", 145 pounds of dynamite.
And he got a break, Jay, and that's what you like. You want to get out there and be relaxed. Marshall got away with something. He knows he did, and he's very thrilled about that. Amleto didn't like it, but Marshall did. So far, for the 6 games that we've had in our inaugural session of the PBA Fall Tour, they've averaged 221. Not bad. Pretty good scores.
Monachelli has averaged 234 with games of 255 and 213 as he has defeated Alby and Sullins.
Both players tipping the 4-pin. Good start for both players. Both of them a little tight. They're bowling for the championship. All that money, $27,000 on top. They both pulled the ball just a little bit, got away with it.
Some of the great stars were here this week, Earl. Pete Weber finished 74th. Mark Ross 76. Wayne Webb had a 300 game but finished 39th. You see
unusual finish there for those guys, huh,
yeah,
Jay?
you see Holman working there as he always is, fidgeting with his equipment. This is some story here. Monachelli on a roll this afternoon here in Rochester. Got a break. Tremendous amount of rotation.
Tremendous rotation. And if you remember at the end of the last game, especially the last few frames, he was really arcing the ball, getting it out near the channel. Now he's starting to tighten it up. Now watch this ball. It will be 3 to 4 boards inside of where he was throwing it before. And that's why it broke through the middle of the head pin. He got a good break. Not an easy spare. Cross lane at the 610. A lot of speed.
And he's got it. Holman now on lane 34 asking for a re-rack. The all-time money leaders.
I wish I had some of that money still, Jay.
Oh, I thought you saved a little bit of it, huh?
Chance to jump out in front and put the pressure on Marshall Holman.
He got it.
Back to back.
Marshall 12th after qualifying. 19-5. Match play record. He started yesterday 219 pins behind, and this is the reason that he took the lead yesterday. A 212 average on the TV pair, and young Monachelli sweating it out here early.
Marshall Holman, probably the most expressive bowler on the tour, along with being so talented. He always lets you know what he feels. He'll show it to you.
Just recently back from the Japan Cup.
See if he makes an adjustment here. And he did.
And 3 in a row for Marshall. The crowd loves it. It's been a wonderful afternoon here.
Now, on that particular shot, different from the first 2 for Marshall was that he got the ball farther down the lane in the air. The ball doesn't hook in the air. He wanted it to go farther in the air so it wouldn't hook quite so soon. A little more loft on the ball, and it was perfect. That's what Amleto does. He's been high twice. He's got to get it out near the channel. There it is. Out and back. Oh, sweat strikes right there.
He scrambled him down there.
If you remember his last shot, he was high. He's made the adjustment. He's loosened up a little bit. He was a little tight. Now watch the loft. Way out on the lane. Clear out near the channel. See the rotation way out by the edge of the lane. All the way back. Tremendous power. 5-pin into the 4-7.
Somebody once said that bowling is more than a sport. It is an American heritage. And the question is, can this young man from South America win this title here this afternoon in Rochester?
He has the ability, but he's bowling against, as we already said, one of the best in the world, Marshall Holman. Way out and back, he's got it. And the 10-pin, bad break.
Well, that looked very, very good, but the 10 remains standing.
You don't give Marshall Holman very many opportunities to get away, and he's got one now. Says the ball enters behind the head pin a little bit. Didn't really get that tremendous lift that he got on the shot before. Left the 10 pin. Cross lane, again, he'll throw a lot of speed. He has missed this spare several times this week.
Ooh, and he did it again, Earl.
Yes, I've seen him. I watched the match play all day Friday. Amleto missed several spares. Kept him from probably pushing Marshall Holman for the lead. You see the ball going cross lane, sliding. That's the way he released it, so it would slide. Gets near the pin, falls into the channel, and an open frame, and a disastrous open frame with Marshall Holman on 3 in a row, going for 4.
And Holman up by 32. He averaged 226 here this week. His high game was 279.
Way out and back.
Marshall going for his 19th PBA title, and he is already very much feeling it here.
Marshall Holman bowled tremendously well all week, and as I said earlier, you don't even have to watch the ball. You just watch Marshall Holman react, and you know what happened. Look at this. Yes. He's into the game. He's really into it. Very emotional person, tremendous bowler, and a nice guy to boot. Chance to take a tremendous lead right here. Could go up by 52 pins with a strike here in only the 5th frame.
That's 5 in a row for Holman the Bowman.
The Medford Meteor. They don't come much better with that. You can't really throw the ball much better than Marshall Holman. He has the ideal roll on the ball. It enters the pins with a lot of heavy roll, keeps the pins low, and that's why he carries so well.
$100,000 for a perfect game from True Value Hardware. That would put him over the $1 million mark in earnings. Of course, I don't know whether that $100,000 goes into his PBA earning list or not, but what difference does it make? And the 10 is standing again for Amleto.
A lot of times, as the players are bowling for a championship, as they are right now, they, without really knowing it, they'll change their release, their ball speed, where they lay the ball down, just a little bit, and just that little bit makes the difference between getting a strike or leaving a corner pin. And Amleto, as you can see, isn't releasing the ball quite the way he was in the last 2 matches. Pressure applied a lot by Mr. Holman, of course, for 5 in a row. The match far from over, with 5 frames left to play. Anything, as I said earlier, can happen. Amleto capable of throwing a string of strikes as well as Marshall is, and we've already seen that disaster can come toward the end of the match as the pressure builds. That's the shot he wants right there. That's his best release of the game, Jay. He got it out, he got it back, he turned it over, and he carried the 10 pin. He's still alive.
Yeah, he really needed that one. Want to congratulate Marcel Fournier and his family, and Frank Formicola, his general manager here, as we look again.
The ball rotating very strongly off near the channel, coming back very sharply to carry the 10. Marshall Holman for 6 in a row.
And he's got it. And he looks slyly back here at you.
Well, Marshall really didn't throw the ball as well as he wanted to. It looked good. The result was great, but he got it a little bit wider than he wanted to. And he still got the strike. That's that tremendous roll.
Terry Chouinard right there in the middle of your picture, his #1 fan.
His biggest rooter.
I mentioned Marcel Fournier and his family, man who owns this house here, and the great job they've done this week. We want to thank everybody for their hospitality, been a splendid week for the PBA and
Bowling fans. Oh boy, the bowling fans, Jay, they've been really supportive of the event.
Uh-oh. There, the bedpost down there. He had 9 in a row in Vegas this year, and he leaves the 7-10.
Now, even though Marshall Holman did start with 6 strikes in a row, the match is not over. As you can see him looking at the score off to the right. He's checking the score. He doesn't want to get careful or careless and miss one of these pins. The pin count could be very important. As you see the ball come in behind the head pin, the 5 pin goes in front of the 7. The pin lays in the channel near the 10.
Didn't get much of a break there, did he?
It's not a good break. He normally would get 9 at least on that shot. He's just not very happy with it. He's going to go for 1 pin here. He's not going to be careless and give away that pin count, which could cost him at the end of the match.
Oh, the string is broken. Marshall told me yesterday, he said, my job today is to lead, tomorrow to win.
And he's he's not very happy right now, though, Jay.
No.
Even though he's ahead by 48 pins at this point, Amleto is on a strike in the 6th. He can make that 38 with a strike here, and there's plenty of room left. He still has a possible 238 game, so he's still in the match.
He sure is.
That's what you call responding to the pressure right there. A great shot by Amleto Monacelli. Still in the match. Still has the chance to win.
That's the situation. As this uninterrupted coverage of this championship match of the Kodak Invitational comes your way on NBC. Don't forget, next Saturday, we'll be on the air at 2 Eastern Time, 1:30 in Los Angeles. $135,000 Budweiser Open from Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. Monachelli trying to make it 3 in a row and battle back here.
He almost has to have them all now, Jay. There's a break. And the tremendous power, lift and lock, got that 5 pin out. The ball entered behind the hip. That's the 10 pin shot right there. The ball late coming in behind the head pin, but the ball was rolling. He's really pumped up, responding to the pressure. The ball was rolling so strongly, he got the pin to come off the wall and kick off the 5.
Holman with a 28-pin lead.
And he doesn't look as happy as he did a minute ago, does he?
Well, that's got to help a little bit. He wanted you and I to send along his very best wishes to his mother, her birthday today.
Today's Marge's birthday. Isn't that great?
It really
is. It's nice that he would, in this pressure situation, remember to say happy birthday to Mom. I'm sure that it's going to be a nice day for her if Marshall wins. And even if he loses, because he's such a great athlete, and he's led the tournament to this point. Chance to really increase the pressure on Monachelli with a strike in the 9th.
Oh, he loved it.
At this point, Marshall Holman knows with that double in the 8th and 9th, he only needs a mark. Any kind of a mark in the 10th frame, and he's a winner.
Holman, 31 years of age, the man from Oregon, and boy, oh boy, he was very pleased.
Marshall has bowled great for a number of years, and he doesn't feel he's been rewarded for his ability by winning enough tournaments. Monachelli's still alive. It's not over. He has to have them all. Almost the same thing Marshall left in the 7th frame.
Just the 7 standing for him.
The same shot he threw in the 8th frame that struck. This time he got the bad break. The 5 pin goes over, kicks right behind the 7, and the little love tap on the 10 breaks up the split. Could have been a strike, wasn't. Sometimes that's what decides championships. The good breaks and the bad breaks.
Monachelli down by 39, and Holman a little happier now. He
knows he's a winner. He's won this tournament, and it's been a long time for Marshall. He has won once this year, but over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been very hard, even though he's bowled extremely well, for Marshall to win on television.
He captured the BPAA U.S. Open in Venice, Florida this year. This is going to be number 19 in his career, and a real shot at the Sporting News PBA Player of the Year award. Monachelli with a strike. And
and he has a score of 187 in the ninth.
There's your winner, folks. Right there, Marshall Holman.
Possible 217 for Marshall. Or for Monachelli, excuse me. Well, this young man has had an excellent afternoon.
He has. I'm sure that as he continues to bowl, he's very young. This man will be a winner one of these days, Jay. I really feel that way. He's got the game to be a winner. And as he gains experience, he'll continue to improve, especially in the championship match.
This is going to be his third second-place finish in his career. And he's a very personable young man. He really is.
He is. He's very personable, very likable, and obviously very talented.
Monachelli, a score of 217.
And congratulating Marshall Holman. Marshall will finish the game out now, a possible 266.
Monachelli pulls down $14,000.
Holman again looking back at Earl Anthony. A happy winner here.
And he just said, "Happy birthday, Mom." But you can read lips. That's what he said, folks.
For Earl Anthony, this is Jay Randolph. Reminding you that the PBA Fall Tour is brought to you by the following sponsors, and we're happy to have them, of course, with us. Bud Light, everything else is just a light. By Kodak, Kodak Film, because time goes by. By AC Delco, the smart parts, and by Sure. You can raise your hand if you're sure, because Sure antiperspirant helps keep you dry. The victory here for Marshall Holman, $27,000. The Kodak Invitational. That lovely trophy and the check from Dr. Rod Heitke of Kodak. Join us next Saturday at 2 Eastern Time for the Budweiser Open from Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. For Earl Anthony, Jay Randolph saying so long from Rochester, New York.